home from a shift at the docks. His ex-wife Mary drops their kids at his house so Ray can watch over them while she visits her parents in Boston. Rachel says hi to her dad, but Robbie completely ignores him. Later in the news, they talk about Ukraine being in almost total darkness because of freakish lightning storms that have hit the country in the middle of the night. Apparently some electromagnetic pulses have interrupted all electrical currents, which was followed by an earthquake. Ray convinces Robbie to play some baseball, but the boy keeps calling him by his name instead of dad and repeating how much he hates coming here. A frustrated Ray ends up throwing the baseball through a window and Robbie returns to his room. Rachel tries to give her dad some advice, but he decides to take a nap instead. A few hours later Ray wakes up to discover Rachel has ordered food to feed herself. Ray eats that food while calling Robbie, who doesn't answer. Rachel reveals that he took Ray's car and left. A desperate Ray leaves the house to confirm his garage is empty, but he's distracted by all the people in the street looking at the sky. He does the same and is shocked to see a huge and dark storm cloud. Soon the wind starts blowing pretty hard and Ray realizes it's going toward the storm, which doesn't make sense. Suddenly the wind stops and lightning begins flashing in the cloud without making any noise. Ray thinks it's fun, but Rachel is scared, so they rush back inside. Lightning keeps striking the same spots over and over, which causes Ray to worry too, so they end up hiding under the table. After a few minutes the lightning stops and Ray checks the house. Power is out in the whole building, but even machines that need no electricity like the landline phone and his watch aren't working. He rushes outside and discovers that all the cars have stopped working too. Robbie is nearby feeling lost, so Ray tells him to go home and stay with his sister while he investigates. When Ray walks near a garage, his mechanic friend tells him the car starters are fried even though they weren't near the lightning. Then he joins a crowd near the church to look at a hole in the street caused by the lightning strikes. Ray grabs a piece of rubble and is surprised by its coldness. Suddenly rumbling can be heard underground and everyone steps back as the cracks begin to appear all over the street. They start destroying the buildings and cars in the area, and when the street cracks open the church is torn apart. A spot on the street moves in a circular motion for a second before sinking, creating a pit that cars fall into. People run away in panic when the hole spits a car back. Then huge tripod legs emerge from the hole and crush the car Ray is hiding behind, but he dodges just in time. A giant machine soon emerges, revealing to be an alien robot. After letting out a loud noise, it opens fire at the crowd, killing people as they try to escape. Even those trying to get away in cars are hit by the rays. Ray tries hiding inside a store, yet the killing beams even reach inside, not to mention the cars being thrown through the windows. After lots of running, Ray manages to leave and goes down the road while buildings keep crumbling behind him. He hides behind a wall and watches the tripod walk away. Now he can go home, but he's in such a shocked state that he doesn't know what to tell his kids. He washes up and finally snaps out of it. Ray announces they're leaving and orders his kids to start packing. Before they leave, he makes sure to grab his gun. On the street, lots of people are trying to leave town. Ray puts his children in a car that the mechanic finally managed to fix and asks him to come, but the mechanic refuses. While they argue, the tripod blasts away behind them and starts a fire. Ray takes off with his family and the mechanic is killed by the laser beam. As they race through the streets, Ray makes his kids stay hidden. Buildings and vehicles continue to explode behind them, destroying the whole town. When the car reaches the highway, there isn't much room to go through because dozens of vehicles have stopped working and big crowds are escaping on foot. Rachel can't stop screaming, so Robbie tries his best to calm her down. Ray tells them everything he saw and theorizes that the lightning storm came to wake the machines up. Eventually they make it to Mary's neighborhood, which hasn't been attacked yet, and they decide to stay in her house for now. Robbie tries to call his grandparents' house, but the line is dead. The supplies Ray brought from home are just a bachelor's leftovers, so the only thing he can make are peanut butter sandwiches. However, Rachel has to remind him that she's allergic. Neither kid wants to eat and Ray throws the bread at the window in frustration. When night falls, he announces they'll sleep in the basement for safety. In the middle of the night, the family is woken up by branches shaking, flashes of light, and some growling noises coming from the window. Suddenly a screech echoes in the area and the whole house quivers as the lights get brighter. The noise becomes a high pitch, so Robbie drags his family into a sub-basement room right before debris comes flying through the window in flames. Ray manages to close the door before the fire reaches them, and now the trio is left in darkness. The next morning Ray comes out and finds the basement in ruins. When he goes upstairs, he discovers that most of the neighborhood has been destroyed by a plane crash. There's a news crew scavenging for food, so he asks for information. It turns out that these alien machines have appeared all over the world and are being piloted by the aliens that came down in the lightning storms. They are also equipped with impenetrable shields, meaning the military has been fighting a lost battle. At that moment they hear a noise, so the news crew immediately leaves. Ray gets his family and Robbie needs a moment to stare in shock at his destroyed home before joining the others in the car. When they reach the countryside, Ray explains they'll go to Boston to find Mary. Robbie keeps saying he wants to go back and fight the aliens, so he and his dad end up arguing. When Rachel says she needs to go to the bathroom, Ray stops the car so she can go in the woods. She approaches the river and is horrified to see hundreds of bodies floating. Ray notices this too and quickly brings her back to the car. When they see a military convoy pass by, Robbie begs them to take him with them because he's desperate for revenge. Ray starts arguing with him again, but it's Rachel who convinces her brother to get back in the car. During the trip, Robbie won't stop mopping, so Ray lets him drive even though he doesn't have a license. In the evening they reach an area where lots of refugees are trying to find a way to escape. Robbie gets scared and passes the wheel back to his father. The crowd soon surrounds the car, pounding on it as they beg to be taken along. When a man jumps on the hood, Ray speeds up to push him off. The others get angry and throw objects at the vehicle, blocking his vision. Ray almost runs over a person and has to dodge at the last second, so the car ends up crashing against a pole. The crowd uses the chance to shake the car and break the windows without caring if they bleed in the process. Robbie and Ray are pulled out and Ray has to fight a bunch of men to stop them from getting to his daughter. There are too many of them and not even Robbie's help makes it fair, so Ray tells Rachel to get out. However, people are starting to climb inside through the broken windows and she has no room to move. Suddenly Ray shoots his gun in the air, which finally gets people to back away. As he rescues Robbie from the crowd, another man points a gun at Ray's head. The guy forces Ray to get Rachel out before he leaves with the car. Afterward, the family enters a diner and watches how people start fighting over the car again, hearing multiple gunshots in the way. The kids can't believe that his father now has a breakdown. Moments later, the trio joins the crowd crossing the bridge on foot and sees thousands of missing people signs. Those who heard some information from the news confirm it's happening all over the world and Europe got the worst of it. Eventually they reach a town that still has power and even the train passes by. At the Hudson docks, volunteers are asking for blood donations. Ray is surprised to find an old friend in the crowd but is distracted when he sees birds flying away. At that moment some tripods appear on the hills and everyone panics. The military starts blocking the ramps to stop the overwhelming crowd from storming the ships, which don't have any room left. As cars fall into the ocean, Ray's friend begs for help but he doesn't hear her because he's rushing to get his kids on the boat right before the ramp closes. Ray then realizes that there's room after all, but no matter how much he asks the officers, they don't let anyone else aboard. People are so desperate that they even try hanging on the ramps and end up falling when the ship takes off. Robbie quickly climbs to the top of the ramp from the other side and helps the people who are still hanging on. Suddenly a whirlpool appears in the water and a tripod rises in front of them. It turns one of the ferries over, causing people and cars to fall into the sea. A vehicle pushes Ray's family underwater and they can see refugees trapped inside it. While the other ships are also flipped over, Ray and his kids reach the surface and start swimming as fast as they can to avoid the tripod's tentacles, which are fishing people out of the water. Thankfully the family manages to reach the shore and they watch in horror how the tripods continue to chase people on land too. The trio keeps on running and enters the forest, where pieces of people's clothes are falling from the sky. They join a crowd going down the road and Robbie starts hurrying up when he sees another military convoy passing by. Jets fly above them as they join the convoy to fight a battle on the hills. Ray has to put Rachel down and run after Robbie to stop him from joining the battle. Explosions are going off all over the area as Ray shakes Robbie to make him see sense. At the same time, a couple thinks Rachel is alone and takes her away, so Ray has to let go of Robbie to go after her. A determined Robbie runs to join the fight and Ray gets Rachel back, but now he has to watch the military trucks come down the hill in flames. The tripods are approaching the town now, so Ray and Rachel have to run and leave Robbie behind. A man named Harlan sees them and invites them to hide in his cellar. Rachel is still shaken after losing her brother and Ray tries to convince her that they'll find him later, so for now she should sleep. However, when she asks for her favorite lullabies, Ray doesn't know any of them. He sings a random song and after Rachel finally falls asleep, he accepts a drink from Harlan, who has lost his whole family but has supplies in the cellar that could last them for a while. Harlan realizes that if the machines were underground, it means the aliens were here before humanity and they've been watching them all this time. Suddenly the building shakes and some debris falls from the ceiling, creating a hole in the cellar. Harlan takes Ray to the window and shows him that the tripods are settling down. He then reveals that he let Ray hide with him because he hopes they can fight the tripods together. Among the rubble and on the walls, Ray finds some mysterious red vines. Then Ray hears a noise and makes everyone hide right before a tripod tentacle enters the cellar. When it gets distracted by a rat, Ray uses the chance to sneak around and reunite with Rachel. They move every time the tentacle changes direction so they can avoid being seen. Harlan gets ready to attack it with an axe but Ray gestures to convince him not to do it, so Harlan carefully walks under it to join Ray instead. Unfortunately, he makes a noise and gets the attention of the tripod, but Ray finds a mirror and they quickly hide behind it. The tentacle falls for the trick and almost leaves, however it comes back when it sees a foot moving. The group moves fast and escapes before it can find them, leaving a shoe that convinces the tripod that nobody is there. The tentacle finally leaves the cellar, however some ripples in the water indicate something else is coming. After hearing something breaking, the trio turns off the lights and hides again. Now the actual aliens come inside and get dangerously close to the group, who wait for an opening to change their hiding spot. Harlan retrieves his gun and wants to shoot, but Ray silently struggles with him to stop him while the aliens curiously look at human objects. When Harlan manages to get his gun back from Ray, a horn calls the aliens back to their tripods. The red vines continue to expand through the whole basement and Harlan screams when he sees something at the window. Ray takes a closer look and discovers that the aliens are capturing people to drain their blood. Then they spray the blood over the land to fertilize the red plant. A desperate Harlan begins digging a hole in the cellar, thinking he can make a tunnel that reaches the subway stations in the city. He keeps shouting "Not my blood" and hits Ray with the shovel when he tries to stop him. Then Ray blindfolds Rachel and tells her to sing while she covers her ears. Now he can approach Harlan and quickly kill him. When he comes back, Ray hugs Rachel and they fall asleep together. Moments later the tentacle comes back and Rachel wakes up just in time to scream when she sees it. Ray immediately hits it with the axe to bring it down while Rachel runs upstairs, then he strikes it over and over until it breaks. The tentacle goes away but Rachel is still screaming, so Ray rushes upstairs to find her. When he opens the front door, he's horrified to find vines and blood all over the yard. Ray searches for his daughter and when he reaches the top of the hill, he notices that the blood is covering the whole area. Suddenly a tripod lands behind him so Ray has to run. He tries hiding inside a truck but the tripod picks it up and starts destroying it. Before it can kill Ray, it gets distracted when it hears Rachel screaming nearby. It picks her up and walks away, destroying more buildings on its way. As Ray runs after it, he finds a military truck and gets some grenades, which he starts throwing at the robot. The tripod picks up Ray too and throws him in a basket full of victims, including Rachel. While Ray checks on his daughter, a smaller tentacle reaches into the basket to grab the next human that will be harvested. The next time the tentacle comes, Ray pushes Rachel out of the way and gets taken instead. A man immediately grabs his hand and the crowd helps him pull him back. On his way out Ray leaves the grenades inside the machine and after lots of effort from the others, he's back in the basket. The grenades explode and the tripod starts falling apart, causing blood to spill all over the place and the baskets to fall. Thankfully they land on plants or trees and everyone is safe while the tripod collapses. In the morning, Ray, Rachel, and the crowd finally reach the city, where birds are feeding on the alien vines. Ray grabs the strange plant and notices it's white now, which means it's dying. Nearby there's a tripod collapsing on a building and a soldier explains they didn't defeat it. The machine just started behaving erratically and went down on its own. The soldiers escort the crowd through the city but soon another tripod appears. It's barely moving and the birds are already flying above it. Ray realizes that if the birds are close then the shield must be down, so he tells the soldiers. They immediately get into position and open fire, successfully shooting down the tripod until it falls on a building. A hatch opens on the tripod and the alien pilot tries to crawl out, but it instantly dies. Afterward Ray takes Rachel to his in-laws' house, where they happily reunite with Mary and even Robbie. Later scientists discover that it was local bacteria that killed the aliens.